It is no surprise now that many games such as Apex Legends, Call of Duty, Battlefield, Overwatch, League of Legends, and World of Warcraft are competitive and have gone to the esports route. And the big question of the day is For Honor Esports ready? And the reason why I bring up this question is because if you type in For Honor Esports on YouTube, you will see a 7-month-old video by Askin Esports. I hope I pronounced that right. Probably not. But it goes over the essentially the history of For Honor from the start of the game to now, going over different unlock tags, option selects, the competitive history of the game essentially, and it brings up the topic: Is For Honor Esports ready? Short answer, in my personal opinion, no, as there is a lot of that this game needs to work on. It's getting there. The game is getting there to be esports ready because it has that uniqueness and is an interesting game to watch. But there are some things holding it back, and it's going to be some discussion points I'm going to bring up in this video. So, in this video, I'm going to be bringing up three discussion points that I think For Honor is lacking, in a better term, that is holding it back from that esports potential. Number one being the inconsistency in content or just how it's drug out. Number two, just inconsistencies in general with this game, as there are a lot of inconsistencies when you actually start playing the game. And the third one is sort of a toss up one that should be standard amongst other fighting games that go the competitive route with crossplay, and that is frame locking, because there is an advantage between a PC player and a console player. The PC player is going to have the advantage simply just because they can see more. We're on console. We only got 60 frames, where some people can crank their frames up above 200. Your PC might not like you if you pump it up to above 200, but if you have the money for that PC that can do that, you're going to be at an advantage compared to little old Timmy who is sitting on PS4 with 80 ping that can't react to anything or see anything. There's a disadvantage and advantage, and frame locking will help that. So that is the third discussion point: frame locking. Now, it is no surprise that content is what keeps a new player coming back and keeps returning players or consistent players staying, because you give us shiny new things consistently, we're going to stay because that shows that you care about the game. And we like new stuff. Humans, we always want something new. We like something new. Give us the shiny. You do as the crystal says because it's shiny, all right? And For Honor has had a history, most recently, of dragging out content, with the COVID-19 pandemic being a play in that. But with regulations now stepping down from that, there is the content we got now with Lord Ramiel and the battle pass and the theme and the weapons and finishers, which these are good finishers. However, in that year and a half or so, with the pandemic being at its height, you got to see For Honor at its driest. However, to put that in comparison, the last time we had a big update, extremely big, was Marching Fire. And then the last time we had 4 heroes in a year was the Year of the Harbinger, with BP, Jormungandr, Zanhu, and Hitakiri, compared to what we have now, which is only 2 heroes a year, and those two going to the Outlander faction. Compared to what we've had in the past, that content is dry, and when you look at the finishers that we received during that time, they were also dry and not unique. The reason why I say this is because they were shared finishers, meaning everybody has them. If you go and look in the finisher tab, you can see that there are a lot of finishers. However, they're shared. It's not unique if everybody has it. Now, they have done some good with the new materials, but materials come out very slow, as there have been a lot of different requests, such as like purple, and some of them haven't even been good, like bedrock. It looks like a gray Crayola crayon, which I don't see why people would like that. But content is dry, or was dry, and it can still be dry with the way it's going now. And I think if they want to keep that player retention and have the possibility to go esports, they need to go back to what they were doing, and that is pumping out 4 heroes a year with content in between then, because the average player, they're not going to sit around and wait for just 2 heroes a year. They're going to go to something else like Rainbow Six Siege, where the content is consistently given out. Now, if you could sum up For Honor in one word, it could be inconsistent, because there are many inconsistencies in this game, from wall collisions to very stable and accurate internet that provides a seamless matchmaking experience, to players leaving, to bots being either dumb or going super saiyan and anti-ganking the whole enemy team. You name it. There's a whole list of factors, and that comes down to the spaghetti code of this game. And spaghetti code is what it is. It is jumbled. The game's code is a mess. That's why unlock teching is still in the game, and it's gonna be for a while because they've said they've wanted to keep it in there. But The inconsistency in this game is frustrating. It is very frustrating. The biggest example is JJ whenever there is a wall behind him. JJ already a strong character. However, it is a 50-50 whether or not you throw your zone after a parry. It's either going to hit some barrel that's on the other side of the point or it's going to hit your opponent. Or the worst case is sometimes you can throw a top heavy and it will somehow hit a wall behind you. And that is one of the many inconsistencies of this game. And the next inconsistency is latency. There are players that have questionable ping or latency that should not be in your lobbies. And I can understand that everybody's internet's not the best, but there needs to be something in play to where if you spike above a certain amount, like a threshold, like 100 a certain many amount of times, it kicks you out from the game because in a fighting game like For Honor, where reactions come into play, as much as they want to make this read based, it's still reaction based. It's still reaction based at the top level and with better platforms. Having high latency can put you at an advantage or a disadvantage and vice versa, and it's something that needs to be sorted out. It's an inconsistency because sometimes you'll be at 20 ping and you'll be skipping around and wondering, but when you look at the enemy team, their latency is perfectly fine. It's an inconsistency that needs to be fixed, and it's spaghetti code. It's most likely not going to go away. However, there is a way you can polish these inconsistencies, or you need to find a way to polish them to make them less frustrating because of user experience. If somebody's just getting frustrated with the game over and over and over because of these small inconsistent things, it's going to build up and it can lead to them just leaving the game or taking a long break from the game, which you don't want as a developer. You want people to play your game to give you money because it looks good on numbers and it looks good for your company. Now, the last thing that I think is holding For Honor back from esports, it's something that is in every fighting game that has a competitive scene or a tourney scene or some big esports type of scene, especially in fighting games, and that is frame locking. And frame locking PC players to 60 FPS. In a fighting game where it comes down to reaction speeds in milliseconds, it is a standard to have it frame locked so that there is not an imbalance between the consoles and hardware. Because a PS4 player is going to get his ass whooped by a PS5 player, and he's going to get raw dogged like it's San Quentin from a PC player that just even has sub average reactions because of hardware and they can see everything. It's not going to be fair when it comes down to that top level. And if that does happen where it's not frame locked, you're going to ask yourself, did they really win just because they are better, or did they really win just because their hardware was better? There's no excuse on why it shouldn't be in the game because frame locking needs to be in a fighting game if you want it to go to that top level, just so that it makes it fair. This one's just short and simple. It's just something that needs to be set standard for every fighting game that wants to go competitive. Alrighty, y'all. That's the end of the video. If there are other areas that you think that is holding back For Honor from becoming esports, let me know in the comment section. Let me know if you like the video. If you like it, subscribe so you can see when I upload. And I hope y'all like the new webcam because, as you can tell, it's got different quality. And you might say, "Hey, Ian, you got that smexy little angle going on." My webcam's on top of my tower fan. All right, you improvise, you adapt, you overcome. But let me know if you like this video, and I'll be getting better hardware as the time goes on, as I ordered some more cables and some better microphones, so my voice won't sound like I'm a Pringle. So yeah, if you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe, become a seal, baby, and don't forget to take it day by day.